Hampton. I cannot tell you how much it means to me to see all of these extraordinary leaders. When I see you, I know the future of our country is bright and full of promise. And I'm so happy to be here at Hampton to see all of these extraordinary leaders. You are everything in terms of who we are as a country and who we can and will be. So please know I am just so proud of you, and I am counting on you. I am counting on your leadership, and I just want you to continue to lead. You are here at one of the greatest academic institutions in the United States of America. And as a very proud HBCU graduate myself, I look at you all and I know where you will be every step of the way. You are going to take charge. You are going to lead. Many of you may be the first to do many things, but your mission is to not be the last. You are everything that is about excellence and promise and joy and pride for our nation. So thank you. I'm so happy to be here at Hampton. I'll see you later. Okay.
Please give a warm Hampton welcome to the first woman, the first Black American, and the first South Asian American to be elected Vice President. Madam Vice President.
Hello, Hampton University. Hello. Oh, and Madam President, thank you for that introduction. Can we hear it for Lillian? Oh, please have a seat, everyone. Terrence, Jay, it's so good to be with you.
Always, always a pleasure. Madam Vice President, I think I speak for everyone here today when I say we're honored to have you and honored to spend this time. Please give her another round of applause. But your team said they wanted to dive right in, so I'm going to begin with a very controversial double question, if you don't mind me asking. Madam Vice President, you are a proud graduate of Howard University, and we are here on the campus of Hampton University. So my first question, Madam Vice President, what do you consider the real HU, and who will win the football game this weekend?
Well, my mother raised me to be a gracious guest.
I love it.
But let me say, and the president and first lady of the university are here. I am so honored to be here at Hampton University. I am so truly honored. And it is because of the leaders who are here and the storied history of this, one of America's most excellent academic institutions, that I decided I wanted to kick off our Fight for Our Freedoms tour here at Hampton University.
Starting things off with a bang. Now, over the next month, you're going to be visiting over 12 campuses across the country. And this is not a fluff tour. You are diving in on the issues. You are talking about fighting for our freedoms. Why did you decide to embark on this journey?
Well, let me start by saying that, you know, I cannot tell you how I feel to be in this auditorium with these young leaders of our country. I remember, you're now 3 weeks into the start of school. I remember, so at Howard, we would convene at Hampton Auditorium. And I'll never forget, from the first day of school, freshman orientation, walking into that auditorium, as I'm sure so many of you, in particular the freshmen, did your first day, and being in awe about being at this place, knowing the shoulders that you stand upon and the expectation that your nation and the world has for you because of your excellence. I remember walking into that auditorium, just like this one, and realizing later in life that on that day, I met people that would be my friends for life. I was sitting next to people who I ended up being godparent to their children. I sat next to people whose weddings I attended. I sat next to people who literally one day I was in Paris at the subway. And I'm on the side waiting for the train, and I look on the other side for the opposite train, and there is one of my Howard classmates from years before. You all are in the midst of a most special experience. And I will tell you that the experience you are having right now is going to carry you through your life in ways that you have yet to realize and imagine. And so that's why I wanted to start this tour here, because I know what this school, Hampton University, means to the future of our country and our world. And so I am here for one reason, because I'm clear about that as the Vice President of the United States of America.
It's funny how when you're in school, it's all about the competition, but when you graduate, there's just so much love. I'm an Aggie, and the moment I walked on the campus earlier today, I just felt the love. And you have a senior staff member, Stephanie Young, who went to school here, who I've worked with for years and years.
Yeah.
I work with so many different people from HBCUs, and I can just, you know, piggyback off what you're saying on how exciting it is to be here. So thank you guys so much for having us.
Thank you.
Now, a lot of the young people here voted for the first time in 2020, 2022. Many of them will vote for the first time in 2024. What did they get for their vote? For those that voted, what did they get from that last election?
Well, let's start with this. One of the reasons that I'm on this tour is that I want to emphasize, based on your point, that voting is like putting in your order. You vote saying, these are the things I want from my government, I want from my country, I want from my life and my future. And what concerns me sometimes is that our young leaders will be told that their vote doesn't matter. They will be told by just the forces that, oh, they're unlikely to vote. And I know that's not true. And so part of why I have embarked on this tour is to highlight our young leaders and to be able to do what I can to share a microphone and a stage to highlight the issues that they are leading on and the issues that concern them. So when people voted in 2020, first of all, remember, it was in the height of a pandemic. How many people here voted in 2020? All right. So you voted during the height of a pandemic. You voted in a historic time where there was extraordinary loss in our country, extraordinary loss of life. Black folks in America, 1 in 4 knew someone who actually passed away because of COVID. You voted at a time where people were losing their jobs, losing a sense of normalcy. And in spite of all of that, in spite of the fact that people were literally being told to isolate themselves, you all got out and voted because you believed in yourself, the power of your voice through your vote, and the fact that you could actually have an impact. And what ended up happening in 2020, Terrence, record turnout of voters across the board, but record turnout of young voters. And it is because you voted that Joe Biden is president and I'm vice president of the United States. But that's not where it begins and ends. You voted and said, we are acutely aware that our entire lives, we have been aware of the climate crisis. You have turned me on to a phrase that so many young leaders have coined, that is to talk about climate anxiety. The fear that our young leaders have about what their future will be. What will it be in terms of their ability to have children, to buy a home with these hurricanes and floods and wildfires? And you all voted saying, y'all got to deal with this. And because you did, we have been able to put $1 trillion into an investment that is about climate resilience, adaptation to the crisis, and what we need to do to invest in a clean energy economy. It's because you voted that that happened. Because you voted and said, we need to deal with an issue like lead pipes. Because in too many of our communities, our babies have been drinking toxic water out of these lead pipes. Think Flint and other places around the country. And you said it's about time that needs to be dealt with. Because you voted we are on track to remove all the lead pipes in our nation. Because you voted and said our HBCUs are some of the greatest centers of academic excellence. We have now invested over $7 billion in our HBCUs.
Which is unprecedented.
So these are some of the many examples of what happens. And when we think about our role of leadership and what we want to do to change things for the better, one of the great tools that we have is our vote, among the many tools that we have.
And for anybody that did not vote, the Secret Service wants to have a word with you outside, so we can, I'm just joking. Make sure you vote.
Seriously, well, two things, actually. The head of my Secret Service detail is a Hampton graduate.
Come on out. I saw him back there.
So you know.
I saw him like the bodyguard. He was scoping the whole room.
But also we do have voter registration on campus today. And in fact, you guys have a very important election coming up in Virginia. And early voting starts September 22nd, which is in 8 days. And I would urge everybody who can register to vote here to do so and to make sure that you vote, because there are a lot of big issues on the stake.
Absolutely. And, you know, all jokes aside, their vote is under attack.
Yeah.
There are a lot of communities across the country whose vote is under attack, but specifically young people. Can you talk a little bit about that?
I've been traveling our country and the world, but I've been traveling our country, and I will tell you, when I look at what is happening in all of the regions of our country, in different places, I believe there is an intentional, full-on attack against hard-won freedoms and rights. And I'm talking about the freedom to make decisions about your own body and the choices you will make about your future connected with that. The freedom to vote, the freedom to be and love who you love, the freedom to be free from gun violence and the fear of that, the freedom to have opportunity and know that it will be a priority to recognize where there have been historical disparities and to deal with that. The freedoms that are under attack right now in our country are very real. And Hamptonians, we have a particular responsibility to all of the founders, all of the folks who sat here generations before, to protect and defend those freedoms they fought for so hard and are now under attack. And so when I think about a moment like this, I think about it being a call to action and a moment where we recognize that we can never take anything for granted, and it will be incumbent on us to look in the mirror and ask ourselves, well, what are we going to do about it? And I know when I look at who's here, you've already made that decision. You're going to be active and you're going to lead. And that's so important. It's so important.
We're here. It's all about the fight for our freedoms. We've discussed so many subjects today, from women's health to gun control to climate change, so many different problems that our country needs solutions for. How do you stay optimistic during these trying times?
Oh, I look around here and I'm very optimistic. Look, here's the thing. We were all born knowing that there's nothing we can take for granted. Those of us who have the blessing of having been from or currently are at an HBCU, we are taught history. And that history teaches us that there will be moments in our lives and in our country where we can take nothing for granted, and we realize that progress will only come out of our willingness to step up and fight for what is right. And so when I look at the turnout this afternoon in this auditorium of these leaders who have clearly decided that in their lives they're not going to be passive observers of what is happening, but they are going to exercise self-determination. You are exercising self-determination to invest in your country and, by extension, your own future. That gives me a great deal of optimism. When I think about all the opportunity that is available when we reach for it, when I think about the fact that everyone here has been, or you are being taught to never hear no, to never hear it can't be done, to never hear, oh, well, no one like you has done that before, so don't try. We don't believe in that. I like to say I eat no for breakfast.
Lunch and
I don't
dinner.
hear no. I don't hear no. And so when I look at the leadership that is here, I know our future is bright, and that makes me so very optimistic. We've got a fight on our hands right now. We are fighting for our democracy, and this is real. These attacks on voting rights, on a person's ability to make decisions about their own body, on issues like affirmative action, on issues that are about what makes for reasonable gun safety laws. This stuff is real, and it is happening right now in real time. But I am optimistic because I know that our leaders are up for this challenge and will not be denied. And so I would just, I know we're close to ending, and I'll just say a couple things. One, you know, for many of you, when you leave here, you are going to often find yourself in rooms where you may be the only one like you, the only one that looks like you, the only one that has had your life experience. During this experience you are having here at Hampton, take moments to be very conscious about who you are surrounded by, and hold on to that. Because when you walk in those rooms and you're the only one who looks like you or has had your life experience, I want you to remember you are not alone in those rooms. I want you to remember that we're all in those rooms with you, cheering you on. That is part of the gift that you have decided to receive by being a student here, is to then leave this place and walk into the world knowing you come with people who are proud of you and are counting on you. And then my last point would be that, you know, it's the nature of things that with each generation, We must fight for our rights and our freedoms. And so just stay active, because I and your country are counting on all of you. Thank you.
Something tells me that with HU, we got some real fighters on our hands. Please give it up one more time for Madam Vice President Kamala Harris. Thank you.